Another day on the coaching carousel, and another candidate hits the open market. Do the Arizona Cardinals need to be in the Mike McDaniel business to make him their next head coach? And the Cards do add another interview request, albeit an uninspiring one, Johnny Venerable.
Yeah, what's with this list? What happened to the juice? We're going to bust out our juice meter. And Mikey, you want to be on that list. PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. That's Brack in Studio K. We got some new music. We got some new digs, but it's the same podcast that you know and love, produced by our sweet baby Noah. What's the good word, Bo?
The good word is hello, Steven Jackson, Micah, LeBron, Aaliyah, Big Bird, Jules Phoenix, AZ Jones. How about Luke, R. Perry, D. Flash, G. Willikers, New Jersey Cardinal, Monti Ossenfort's Burner, Brandon Butterfield, AZ Moses, Skim, Jack, love it, Mr. Fat Gangster, DJ Boogie, Digital Dusted. The entire squad's here. How about Evan? I can go on and on. I will go on and on. Big thank you for everybody tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe. Like my co-host said, of course, recognize that this episode of PHNX Cardinals is brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. And when you deposit $10, bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Also, if you just use that handy dandy promo code PHNX365, do it with our friends over at Bet365.
I'm not going to lead the show with Jeff Hafley, and you can't make me. As the Arizona Cardinals coaching search continues, you speculated there could be another name today. There was. We're going to get to that. But another bombshell across the NFL landscape, a day after or 2 days after John Harbaugh was fired, Mike McDaniel was fired. Many assumed that would happen on Black Monday, and then they kind of sort of let him sit in on GM interviews. And then they're like, actually, no, Mike, get the hell out of here. We're going in a different direction. And that direction they think is going to be John Harbaugh. Who knows if that's a reality for them? Good luck with that. And so you're sitting here and you might be thinking to yourself, like, why do the Cardinals and why should they? And why did the fan base? Why would they want somebody else's scraps, right? We talked about Raheem Morris. We've talked about Vance Joseph once upon a time being fired. Mike McDaniel is not your usual fired coach that becomes available. He's not John Harbaugh, but he is somebody that in a league where everybody not for long has a short memory, 18 months ago was a top 10 NFL head coach. And I think really as Tua's regression began physically and on the field, I think it makes what he did early on that much more impressive. So we start today's conversation. Bo and I are going to make our case, please God, why the Arizona Cardinals need to at least have a conversation, a sit down with now the ex-Dolphins head coach.
Makes a whole lot of sense, right? And people will try to tell you differently just with how things kind of transpired in South Beach the last 2 years. But if you look at the entire body of work with Mike McDaniel, if you include his season as OC of the San Francisco 49ers working in concert with Kyle Shanahan, he had 3 consecutive seasons, his final year in San Francisco and his first 2 seasons in Miami, where he was firmly in the top 5 as far as offensive side of the football. His offenses were top 5 offenses, and Mike McDaniel, if hired by whichever organization, he immediately elevates that side of the football. And you look at the collection of talent, and I know like it doesn't matter if it's going to be Mike McDaniel or whoever you hire as head coach, the quarterback is going to be a question, so you can't just put that strictly on him. But the Cardinals outside of that have a franchise left tackle. They have a all-world tight end.
Best.
They have a 1,000-yard receiver, and they have Marvin Harrison Jr., who is untapped potential that you'd have to feel pretty confident that if there is going to be a play caller that has the ability to unlock that, Mike McDaniel's got to be in the conversation.
Yeah, like you want to return on investment, Monti Ossenfort, for the guy that people now are questioning that you took fourth overall. Guess who's not going to do that? Respectfully, Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph's not going to get the most out of Marv. At least I don't think he would. Mike McDaniel, you're getting a guarantee return on investment. He will be infinitely better than he was the last 2 years in football prison with Drew Petzing. That to me, if I'm Monti Ossenfort, I'm like, I need to strengthen my case here. Well, that helps immensely, and he can get the running game back on track.
Right.
I mean, what he's been able to do with a multitude of backs now, Devon Achane, and he's a 1,000-yard rusher and was a mid-round pick. Like, there are so many positives. So let's talk the elephant in the room. Is people just, for whatever, he's unconventional, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't look like a big bravado coach. You and I have met him. We've been around him at the NFL Combine. He's taller than me. It's not by much, though. I'm 5'6.5". I mean, he's a small guy. Doesn't matter. Have you ever been around Nick Saban? Nick Saban is the same height as Mike McDaniel. All I care about this coaching cycle, I don't care what you look like. I don't care, how you are at a press conference. What is your NFL resume for winning games? No more taking a swing at a guy that has not been a head coach before. No more taking a swing at a guy who is an unequivocal failure as his first time as a head coach. Robert Saleh almost went 500 with the Jets. That's a special circumstance. Vance Joseph went 10-21. I'm not interested in that. Mike McDaniel has 2 playoff seasons, 2 winning seasons in 4 years, with his worst season this year, not at 3-14, but 7-10. The Cardinals have 1 playoff season and winning season in 10 years.
Right.
And you got people being like, oh, Mike McDaniel, why would we ever hire Mike McDaniel? It's all about standards. It's about raising the floor. If you think Mike McDaniel can come in here and do that, what are we even talking about? This conversation should not be, let's get somebody in here and the Cardinals tomorrow have Super Bowl aspirations. We'd all love for that to be the reality. Be a competent franchise. Be buttoned up for once. He comes in here and immediately comes in and says, okay, I can put a staff together. I don't know. Once upon a time, he hired Vic Fangio to be his defensive coordinator. He's got Anthony Weaver as his DC, who's solid, who, by the way, the Cardinals are talking to. Who's Vance Joseph hiring as his offensive coordinator? Who's Jeff Hafley hiring as his offensive coordinator? Mike McDaniel has been building a staff for almost half a decade. How this is not evident to everybody and anybody who's watching this take place, I'm sorry. This franchise, other franchise can take a Jesse Minter or somebody like that and prop them up with their culture. Cardinals can't do that right now.
No, you need a guy with a resume that has wins stacked up. I mean, and I know like you could probably make that case. He's got a similar overall record to Matt Nagy, but he's more respected around the league, and it was less bottoming out than what Nagy did in Chicago, which put him, down in the doldrums as far as around league circles and how he's perceived. Like Mike McDaniel, like all signs were pointing to him leaving mid-season this year. It was able to resuscitate that Dolphins team with spotty quarterback play from Tua, who turned the ball over at a almost a league high rate before he was benched for a 7th rounder, and he showed some things with Quinn Ewers down the stretch. I mean, I think that Mike McDaniel is one of those few coaches that you can point to during this coaching cycle that has an impressive resume, that has one that merits having the conversation and making sure you get that interview on the docket. Because what he maybe lacks as far as being the alpha and being like having these immense leadership qualities, which I think he has fine enough. He has enough to hold the job and hold a room. He holds court with everybody in the NFL and the NFL media when we're out there in India at the scouting combine. People like to talk to him. He's quirky, sure, but people take him seriously because he's transcendent as far as the scheme and the X's and O's goes. And if you got one of those guys and he can put your players in a position for success, which he has, I think that you've got an opportunity week in and week out. And that's what you should be looking for. Not, hey, this guy's a good leader, and that's what I'm going to start with. But what's his resume tell me? Oh, it's not. There isn't much to it because he's so young, or it's got red flags all over the place because he's jumped around because he didn't win enough, or he wasn't part of winning programs enough.
Like, say what you want about Cliff Kingsbury, and he had probably the worst resume of anybody. He had a side of the ball that he could dominate on, and it translated to the NFL. Steve Wilkes, they had the leadership mantra, right? He and Steve Keim and Michael Bidwill was like, oh, Steve Wilkes is going to come in here and be a leader. I found a diamond. Everybody's trying to find the next Sean McVay. I'm going to find this next guy. No, the Cardinals can't afford to do that this hiring cycle. I mean, like, Jonathan Gannon had a better resume than Jeff Hafley. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Like, we're going to get into Jeff Hafley later, and I hope Jeff Hafley gets hired and has a ton of success. This is not the right place for him. We all know by now, and people are dogging the Cardinals locally and nationally, not all these openings are the same. Somebody can go to Baltimore and have success because of Lamar and their history and their culture and their GM, and they're competent, right? It's you see a lot of these young coaches grow into themselves, like Matt LaFleur with the Green Bay Packers once upon a time. Culture can elevate a coach when the coach is, unproven. The Cardinals don't need that. The Cardinals can't afford that. They got basically a ready-made head coach in Bruce Arians. They lucked into him. He was an A-plus coach that, for whatever reason, never got a shot, proved he could win with Indy. They got him, and guess what? They won. This franchise, it's been a long time since Dennis Green was here, who was the true, had won somewhere, came in here, and then it flamed out, unfortunately. You have to try again. And McDaniel is now in that group with whom? Mike McCarthy, who would take this job. I think Mike McDaniel would take this job in a heartbeat. The only other job he's linked to right now is the Browns, and the Browns just are talking to him because he was the receiver coach in 2014. You're telling me Mike McDaniel wouldn't come here immediately and elevate one side of the ball, and he clearly can get competent defensive coordinators. Bring Raheem Morris here as his defensive coordinator. You've had an A-plus offseason. Everybody would be back. That is a tangible move. People want to dog on, they're not going to get Kubiak and they're not going to get Saleh. Okay, then move on and do something different. This is a move right now on paper that makes too much sense not to happen, but the only reason it wouldn't is your point, Bo. He's just not our guy. He's just not an alpha.
Right.
Your kind of guys are going to get you fired, Monti Ossenfort. Monti Ossenfort, if you hire somebody else like you did the prior stint, Jonathan Gannon, who we love, that was not a head coach before, but you fell in love with the intangibles, you are going to get fired.
Right. Well, that's the big thing about accountability, right? And it's when you sit there in the press conferences, you can get, pressed by the Theo Mackeys, the Josh Weinfrisses of the world, the people in that room.
Right.
And you can have these answers. And if they do come across and they're received, it's still your actions after that have to prove something. And as far as ownership and the front office goes, it's going to be important to show that you're going to learn from your mistakes. And if you're the ones that are left behind after major moves were made, you have to be able to pivot from where you went wrong the previous stop. You have to be able to say, what went wrong here? Okay, we love the leadership qualities. We love the culture building that came from head coach Jonathan Gannon.
Yes.
What did Michael Bidwill say this ultimately came down to? Wins and losses. Wins and losses and a lack of winning. I'm sure probably ticket sales or lack thereof.
But that was a direct reflection of that.
That's the
direct. If the Cardinals were winning games, people would go to the games.
Right, exactly. I mean, they saw an influx in season ticket sales this going into this season before the wheels completely fell off. But you have to be able to show, well, maybe the type and caliber of leader, a type of leader that I thought I wanted, maybe it's not the right one. And maybe I need to be looking at some other stats, analytics, whatever it may be. I think Mike McDaniel, despite not being your cup of tea, despite not being the type of guy you would swipe right for as far as on coaching tender, maybe you should. Maybe you should be more open-minded to it, because he's the type of guy that I think would come in here and give exactly what it needs. And to your point, I don't care if it's McDaniel, Robert Sarra, Brian Flores. You would have an immediate identity, because this team went through such an identity crisis because there was nobody that was going to take that baton and run with it and say, this is who we are. We're a defensive team. We're going to dominate here. And if we fall short on that other side of the football, it doesn't matter. We're still going to be able to have our calling card. McDaniel would present an immediate calling card. Saleh would probably present an immediate calling card on the side of the football that he's most versed in. And I think that it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer interview request to bring on Mike McDaniel. Hey, you probably feel like you got a raw deal as far as how the Dolphins treated you, right? I mean, they were having you involved in the GM search and then just said, actually, you know what? 3 days after Black Monday, you're effing out. You got to feel you got to be pretty mad about that. Prove them wrong. We want to be your next opportunity to do so.
Come here and pick your quarterback. We got the third pick in the draft. We got the second pick of round 2. You won a game at the end of the year with Quinn Ewers. We went to Tampa and wet the bed and couldn't eclipse 20 points against a dead team in Tampa. He beat Tampa with Quinn Ewers and half a roster at the end of the year. People are like, beta, Mike McDaniel. The Cardinals are poverty right now. They need a stabilizer. Mike McDaniel, head coaching resume, 9-8, 11-6, 8-9, and he got fired after going 7-10. Jonathan Gannon, if he had gone 7-10 this year, still be here. What are we talking about?
I mean, we got Vance Joseph ready to interview, and Mike McDaniel hung a 70 burger on him. 70? Not 40.
No.
Not 50. Not 60.
In like the third quarter.
Points. And Mike McDaniel got 20 rushing touchdowns out of Raheem Mostert, who's 31 years old. He can generate a run game that the Cardinals had to abandon because they faced the slightest bit of adversity under Drew Petzing.
Yep.
3 games into the season, they said, we're done running the football. Mike McDaniel said, you know what? We don't have the greatest offensive line. We don't have like Mostert. He's not carrying the ball. You know, Achane's not available as much as possible. I'm going to take Achane. I'm going to take Ollie Gordon, and we're going to still be a running offense because it's important to run that, to be successful on that side of the football.
I'm telling you right now, he would come here and give them instant juice and credibility on a staff right now that desperately needs it. That staff, it's going to come out harsh. It was just, there was too many JV players. He comes in here. He knows everybody on the Shanahan staff. He knows everybody on McVay's staff. He's got ties to the AFC. You need somebody with that. Jonathan Gannon had those ties. He didn't use it to the full capabilities, and that's why he's fired. And if he gets to do it again, I guarantee you he doesn't go young with his OC next time.
Well, and it also perks up your rivals. Like you hire McDaniel and Kyle Shanahan says, oh crap. Okay.
We got to be buttoned up. If we lose Robert
McVay goes, okay. Yeah. McDonald, like all of them pay attention.
It's like Michael Bidwill. You're going to go up against Mike McDonald, elite head coach defensively, and then 2 elite Hall of Fame level offensive coaches who call plays. You have a chance to buy low on a guy who was a top 10 NFL head coach 18 months ago. You're not getting John Harbaugh unless you blow us all away and get a meeting. And this is the kind of move that this franchise needs to make. Not Jeff Hafley from Boston College, who's been in the NFL 2 years as a defensive coordinator, who's 15th in the NFL in total defense. Like you're throwing money at a different problem.
Right.
This is a stabilizer. I'm not saying Mike McDaniel is going to come here and win Super Bowls, but for the Miami Dolphins, who never make the postseason, I know people are beating him up over the postseason performances with Tua. Well, you have to play in cold weather here.
Right.
Like dome teams. Let's go. Playing on, for the most part, west side of the continental United States. I don't know. I just, to me, it's like, have we been watching the same team for the last 10 years? Most of the time, 90%, they are bad. And for the better part of the last half decade, they have been one of the worst products. 4-3, 4-3, an 8-9 outlier season, now 3-14. I mean, like, I'm not saying I aspire to be 7-10, but like this year was a bottom out year for the Dolphins with him, and it was 7-10.
Right.
That's how you don't bleed season tickets. You bleed season tickets when teams are pulling their starters against you in the third quarter. I'm not sure. Mike McDaniel beat the Bills this year on Monday Night Football when everybody thought he was toast. It's like Jonathan Gannon doesn't have a signature win in 3 years.
Yeah, there just wasn't those moments. And there weren't even those okay, let's rethink this. There weren't any of those bumps in the road that would have made ownership hesitate before Black Monday because it tied their hands up. And McDaniel, Raheem Morris, credit to both of those guys down the stretch.
Yeah.
Albeit in a lost season, and I guarantee that they'll look at it both as a failure, but at least they were able to put their teams down the stretch in a position to find some success, to not bottom out, to not just completely start making reservations for Cabo and Cancun, in November.
If you come to the podium with Vance Joseph or Jeff Hafley and tell people that we believe we have a winner, there is nothing to signify that that is correct before the season starts. And thus you have zero buy-in. You can't, it's the same reality in which if you bring Jonathan Gannon back and tell everybody we're going to win next year, things are going to be different for us. Though the guys you're bringing in, let's take a look at the updated coaching chart with people that they're trying to talk to.
Right.
Noah, we've added Jeff Hafley, DC, which we're going to get into more around the corner. But who on this list screams innovator, winner, reputation? There's two names on here. There are two hot candidates, Bo.
Yeah, they're right there in the middle. They're the actually only thing that stops this from being a complete crap sandwich, and it's Robert Saleh and Klint Kubiak. Outside of that, I mean, I put my juice rankings out today, and this list provides very little juice, where we've got, some candidates, some options for you that would bring in. It's my official juice meter. John Harbaugh, I think unequivocally, he's a 5 juicer out of 5.
Yes.
Mike McDaniel, I'm going to have 4 out of 5 juice. And then I'm going to get to, I really kind of slowed some things down, even though I'm big in the camp of Robert Saleh and Klint Kubiak, as far as how it would be perceived, not just by myself, but by the fan base. I know Robert Saleh's got a bit of a tough overall record, and Klint Kubiak would be a first-year guy. So I curved it a little bit and gave him 3 juices. And then Mike McCarthy, who, same thing, I would be a proponent for, but sometimes as far as selling and juice in a fan base, I'm given 2 juice boxes, while Raheem Morris is just a one juicer, where I think I would throw Hafley there, Johnny. I think he's a 1 juice box, if not no juice, like Anthony Weaver, Thomas Brown. And then I got my negative juice guys, VJ and Matt Nagy.
Yes, negative juice for both those guys. And here's what I can tell you about the national media right now in the Cardinals job. Nobody has any idea. And that's probably the best thing that I can say about what's happening right now. Our guy, Benjamin Albright, Albert Breer, people are rightfully so trying to connect the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Need somebody who babes. And I get it, but I think similar to when Michael Bidwill and Monti Ossenfort pivoted off of Jonathan Gannon, that came out of nowhere. I need a coaching hire that comes out of nowhere. Unless it's Klint Kubiak or Robert Saleh, I need somebody that, I need somebody that's not on that list. Where, the Titans are talking to Mike McCarthy. We're Cardinals. Get on the phone. Brian Flores finally got an interview today with the Vikings, or with the Ravens.
Right. What do the Ravens want to do? Win football games.
Right.
He's a great coach. Where they struggled when they didn't have Lamar Jackson and they felt like the roster was in a place to still compete, they couldn't stop anybody. They were one of the worst defenses in the league. They know that Brian Flores would come in and he would replace Orr, and he would put somebody, that defense and all those investments that they made on that side of football, and ramp it up. But for whatever reason, people want to dilly-dally around and play this game with this coaching carousel. And it's if you're sitting there and you're one of the last teams to hire a guy and you don't get anybody that's going to, after firing a guy based on trying to re-galvanize a fan base that you felt like you had lost going into this offseason, if you're not going to hire somebody that's going to be a bump, then why even have made the move?
So Jalen Blair saying, Albright's telling people on Twitter that Michael Bidwill is going to find out that this job's not as desirable. Mike McDaniel would take this job. Mike McDaniel's not getting hired by these other teams yet.
Yeah. I love Ben, man. I do. And I really I appreciate his insight. I think he's tapped in. I think he gets information, and sometimes it's a dangerous game where sometimes information comes to fruition, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
But as far as the Cardinals' job and the move that they made, you can't. It's not an indictment on Michael Bidwill for moving off a coach at 15-36. And that's coming from somebody who's one of the bigger proponents of Jonathan Gannon here in the Valley for the Arizona
lost 14 of 15 games.
That's right. He was 0-6 in the division. He was 3-15 in the division overall. I mean, to say that in league circles, people are going to look at the Cardinals and say, well, they wrongfully fired Jonathan Gannon. I just don't think that case holds up well.
If somebody gives you 4 or 5 years fully guaranteed, millions and millions of dollars, like you're not declining that. And if they operate that way, where they're afraid to be told no, then shame on them as well. But there are more good candidates than openings still for this team. Let's just run through them quickly and we'll take a break.
Okay.
Mike McDaniel,
yeah,
Brian Flores, Mike McCarthy.
Yes.
Kevin Stefanski, I'll just put him on the list, whatever. Okay. Kevin Stefanski, John Harbaugh, Robert Saleh, Klint Kubiak. There's 7. There's 8 openings. Who am I missing here? Am I missing anybody? I know I'm missing one person. Who can put it in the chat? This is not good podcasting. Saleh and Kubiak are the 2. Then Mike McDaniel, McCarthy, Flores, John Harbaugh. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah. I mean, we had 6 with Todd Bowles, and then Todd went away. So then there are going to be guys like Jesse Minter who gets a job, right? And they're going to be people that aren't on this show's radar of what they need. Raheem Morris, to me, it would be a hard sell for a fan base to hire Raheem Morris with no history of winning. Everybody knows Mike McDaniel because he turned around the Dolphins, and their ownership is nuts. Raheem Morris, like, as well as they played down the stretch, we thought they were dead all year. And they won 4 games at the end of the year, however many it was, and he's a respectable guy. And yes, he would be an upgrade over a lot of these guys, but I still think that's a tough sell. That shouldn't be your goal, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Your goal should be to get somebody to pair with him and have him be your defensive coordinator, like Mike McDaniel.
Right.
And then you can say, hey, guys, remember we had 0 experience on our staff? Here's a guy who's been to the playoffs twice as a head coach, and here's a guy who's been a head coach twice, and both of them know this division. That should be the Cardinals' goal right now, is to hire Mike McDaniel with Raheem Morris. And suddenly, you mentioned Sean McVay perking up and Kyle Shanahan because of Mike McDaniel. You don't think Raheem Morris, when Raheem Morris only has to focus on defense and nothing else, he's excellent.
Yeah. Great.
Do it. Go do that. They'll take your money. Go do that. Don't wait for Jeff Hafley. Stop it. Don't wait for Anthony Weaver. Don't do that.
I'm seeing the chat, and you guys crush it, but I disagree. Look, this is fair game. This is open forum. We embrace debate, but I'm seeing I'd take Kubiak over McDaniel. I give an edge to Mike McDaniel just being in that seat before and having success there. Where
I don't know if Kubiak can be a head coach. I hope.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, to me, that's an unknown. I would err on the side of what's more of a proven commodity, more so than one of the trendy coordinators. And I'm just seeing hell no on McDaniel. I mean, what are we doing? So what's the solution? What's your other solution? Who are you looking at? I mean, because the thing about like Harbaugh, I mean, it's coming out like Harbaugh. When you start to kind of try to figure out what it's going to take to get Harbaugh, and I'm saying if you can make it happen, make it happen.
Do it. Yeah, we're not saying that.
But Harbaugh is going to want Sean Payton money, which is $18 million a season. And then he's going to want maybe just the same amount of money to build his coaching staff. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at close to $40 million that you're going to ask an owner who's not known to be throwing money around like that to spend on his entire coaching staff. It's not just John Harbaugh. It's more on top of that.
The solutions are out there. You have solutions out there. You did the hardest part was parting ways with a coach that you deeply respected and you wanted to work with. That was the hard part. Don't muck up that decision. Take one step forward and 20 steps back by hiring Vance Joseph or Jeff Hafley. We're going to talk Jeff Hafley around the corner. Hit that like. It's PHNX. The Arizona Cardinals are hoping to hit the jackpot on their next head coach, but you can one-up them with our friends at Arizona Lottery. Multiple scratchers are the perfect way to add to your life, and with multiple scratchers from the Arizona Lottery, you could multiply the good things like relaxation, a vacation, and a time to celebrate. Everybody use that extra cash, and because more than over $270 million is available in a cash prize, you could win big and more than enough time to spend doing what you want to do with our friends at the Arizona Lottery. Multiple tickets start at just $1 and have prizes up to $5 million. And they've even got the triple theme games. Triple games, triple the fun. Now you can play 3 exciting triple theme games from the Arizona Lottery. Play triple red sevens and triple cash out payout scratchers. Love the scratchers for the chance to win top prizes of $100,000. Triple red sevens, play fast, and has a progressive jackpot starting at just $30,000. Head on over to our other friends at Circle K. Grab off those scratchers today with access to over 3,500 other retailers across the state. You can play wherever and whenever you'd like. You got to be 21 years and older. Now is the time to hit it big. Year, new you. How about a new bank account? Robust with our friends at the Arizona Lottery.
Love that from Arizona Lottery. We all know Phoenix, great sports town, but things go to another level this spring out at Phoenix Raceway. That's right. For the first time ever, NASCAR and the NTT IndyCar Series open wheel racing is in the same weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Vroom! I believe that's what they say. Vroom, vroom. Yeah, there's nothing like race weekend. Engines firing, smell of rubber, crowd losing it, going around turn 1. If you want the best access to motorsports, you can upgrade to the Desert Diamond Casino Infield Experience, garage access, track walks. You get to meet the drivers, a pre-race concert. Nothing brings you closer to the sport than this. You can camp all weekend, RV options, grab hillside views with the Cup race, and lock in race weekend packages for 3 action-packed days. And yes, you can watch Kyle Larson return to the track where he won it all last winter. History's being made March 5th through the 8th, and you'll want to say you were there. Secure your seats right now. Links in the show notes. If you're listening, just head over to phoenixraceway.com.
Okay, I don't like coming on the show and knocking guys that have worked hard and are waiting for the right opportunity and are great at their current role, because Jeff Hafley, in the right circumstance, I'm sure could be a fine NFL head coach. Jeff Hafley is going to interview with the Arizona Cardinals presumably next week. If he takes the interview, he's a name we've heard about. Packer fans love him. Last year they were like 6th in total defense. This year they fell to the teens. They were not the same defense, obviously, when Micah Parsons went out, and they traded some resources to Dallas in that trade defensively. But all that to say, Bo, he is not a candidate that encapsulates what they talked about at that press conference a week ago. Or that was earlier this week? That feels like a week ago. Instead, I believe, and I say this with all due respect to JG, it feels like more of the same. And even if you have the best intentions in mind with a Jeff Hafley, you can also say, and your fan base can tell you this, you're not in a position to do that again. Even if you fall in love with him in an interview, you are not in the position. You don't have the cachet with your fan base to hire Jeff Hafley right now.
I agree. I mean, under different circumstances, your roster being in a different place, if you were kind of handing off the baton from a successful run, this might be a guy that, hey, if you put him in success, like he can continue that on, but asking him to build, it's something that he's already been tasked with and has fallen short of. And it wasn't the NFC West. It was the ACC. It was the Atlantic Coast Conference. He went to Boston College. He was there for 4 seasons, won 22 and 26. I mean, you're playing the likes of Wake Forest and Duke, and you can't come out with at least a 500 record or better. And he's blown out, and then he starts, smartly works his way into the NFL and had success. Like you said, I mean, that defense in 24 was a top 5 unit, or took a step back with the addition of Micah Parsons, where I would argue that that's a little bit of a red flag in my opinion. We do have, like, if you're wondering what I want to know more about Jeff Hafley, what's this guy about? This was a video that was making the rounds on the Twitter streets today. Here you can hear Jeff Hafley talk, and you'll notice some similarities.
Yeah, I love this group. I love being part of the Green Bay Packers, and I never take that for granted every day when I drive in and I get to see Lambeau Field, honestly. I mean, I'm a guy who started coaching Division III football and worked my way up to be a college head coach, and now I'm part of the greatest NFL organization that there is, getting to call the plays. So that is so humbling to me. I love the defensive players that we coach. Like, I love these guys, and I love the staff, and I love working for Matt. And I never take that for granted, not 1 second, which is why when I answer that question, I don't think it'd be fair to anybody in here, anybody a part of this, for me not to give everything I have for this game. Would one day I like to be a head coach again? Absolutely, for sure. But, like, just even answering this question for you right now, I just am so grateful and so happy to be here and be part of this. And I've just loved coming to work every single day here. Like, even joking with you guys, like, I know sometimes it's hard and you ask hard questions, but you guys have been incredible. And I mean that. And it's not like that everywhere. So I thank you guys for that. Everything that I have been a part of here, from Goody to Ed to Matt, it's just been like, what a blessing to be here for me and my family. So I appreciate that. And we are not going to be done. So I will see you guys next week.
Guy's got fire in his gut. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Poor Jeff Hafley. Here's what I'm going to tell Jeff. If I could advise Jeff one-on-one in a private setting, when you come to the Arizona Cardinals as their next head coach, you do not get to bring their franchise, their ownership, their front office, LaFleur, Jordan Love with you. You don't get to play, 9 in Minnesota once a year, and historically inept Chicago, although they're back this year.
Right.
You're Jeff Hafley against the NFC West on his own, bloodbath. I would love to be proven wrong. I don't want to have to wait 6 months if they hire him for it to happen, but, like, come on. We can't do this again. He needs to go. He needs to either stay there or go somewhere where they're ready to win. Like, and the culture is set. And the team is good to go. Like, if he got the Titans job and they were, like, feisty next year and, like, whatever, for sure.
Sure.
Bad division with their quarterback figured out. Awesome. Great. Do that. Jeff Hafley, I'm imploring you, if you take this job, it's going to end exactly like how it just ended for Jonathan Gannon.
It would be the sequel. It would be the sequel. It would be, what Gannon didn't like, I'm sure, or didn't dress him in the best light when he kicked off his tenure here, right? I mean, Jeff Hafley, I can just see it now. I mean, as far as the cameras following him around and dressing players for the first time, his, the cherry picked highlights from his introductory press conference. There's something to, like, you have to appreciate the enthusiasm. You have to appreciate how humble he is and how grateful he is for the opportunity. But at the same time, that's not what you need to be in the business of finding right now. You need to find somebody that's going to be able to help you turn the corner and win football games.
I think Jeff Hafley needs to remain. I don't think he's ready to be a head coach. I don't think he's done enough in the NFL.
This is not Davis Webb. This is not some of the younger candidates on the coaching streets right now that are getting opportunities. He's 46 years old. Like, he's approaching 50. It's not like somebody who's got a long way to go as far as his career.
What was his record for Boston College?
22 and 26.
Kurt Signetti,
12 and 22 in the division in conference.
And then he came back to the NFL because he'd been assistant in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah.
Some guys are just meant to be coordinators and
defensive coordinator on Ohio State.
Right. And he's the defensive coordinator, as he said, for the greatest franchise in the world, the Green Bay Packers, who haven't had a down year in 20 years. The Cardinals do not need to take a inexperienced in terms of being a head coach, unknown, thrust into this environment. How the Cardinals can't open their eyes and see that like these candidates we're going to bring in, they are lacking one specific trait, a resume of winning in the NFL. And there are people on Twitter like, well, that's why the Cardinals aren't getting those guys. BS. Mike McCarthy would talk to the Cardinals. Brian Flores would talk to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Brian Flores, as Bo mentioned, won a game with potentially the worst quarterback play we've seen since Clayton Tune versus the Browns.
Yeah.
And he shut down Jared Goff. Brian Flores, the minute he became the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, became elite. I'm sorry that he's not. Like, I'm sure Jeff Hafley is a great guy to hang with. Get a beer with, hang out with, see in the office, right? Getting the guys fired up. The Cardinals, you always heard Gannon talk about it. The Cardinals had great vibes. Remember how many times Gannon would say this? Guys are bouncing all over the place. It'd be a Monday after they just got their ass kicked on Sunday. I don't need the Cardinals to feel good about themselves Monday through Saturday.
Right.
Because we all feel like shit on Sunday after they play. Excuse my French.
It's okay.
They look terrible, and it ruins everybody's day. It's like, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about somebody that can put a game plan together to beat Kyle Shanahan for once, to beat Mike McDaniel in the Seahawks for the first time in half a decade. That's like, and I know his background isn't this, so I'm not saying about him as a person. You hire a defensive coordinator from the Packers that's a trust fund kid coming to a broken home. You can't do that. Mike McDaniel won with the Miami Dolphins, who can't beat anybody.
Right. Yeah, coming off the Flores era, right?
Yeah.
And he was able to transform that offense, and he was able to do it with a guy now in hindsight wasn't exactly the best option at the quarterback position, right? He was able to get to a point where he's making $55 million a year. There's not a whole lot of people during this coaching search that check the box of, hey, do you have an over 500 record as an NFL coach? There's 3 of them right now. Well, there's 4, I guess. We'll count Matt Nagy. He is statistically over 500, but
he's being forced out of jobs. People don't want him around.
Harbaugh, McCarthy, McDaniel.
Flores. Is Flores over 500?
I doubt it. Not after his first year. But
basically is. They tried to tank that year for Tua. I think Flores is over 500.
He is 24 and 25.
So basically, he's there. He's right there.
He had back-to-back seasons over 500 after 5 and 11.
And they fired him.
The Dolphins were the worst team in the league roster-wise.
Yeah. They traded all their good. You heard Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick has talked about this recently, who was in the locker room during Flores' run. And he was saying this on his podcast that Brian Flores alienated not only the players in that locker room, but his coaching staff. He said he didn't recognize Flo from that year one where they started winning games, and then to the second year of 10-6 to where like he had just kind of morphed into this very polarizing dictator, and hopefully, I mean, but it seems though he's had kind of this like master's, graduate program post in going and work with Tomlin and going to work with KOC in Minnesota. So you have to imagine now as he removed himself from the Belichick coaching tree, his own tenure as a head coach to now working under some pretty good head coaches, that maybe he learned from his mistakes.
Jeff Hafley's 46. He hasn't been a head coach yet. He has a losing record in the ACC. Brian Flores is 44. He's been in the NFL coaching at an elite level for a long time.
Same thing with McDaniel, right around Flores' age, 43, 44. I saw Jalen Blair basically me saying 46 basically like, hey, get 1 foot in the box. I'm not saying that, but I am saying he's no spring chicken, like to say, hey, this guy's got a lot of growth as far as, who he was at BC and who he can be. It's like, well, let somebody else take that and give him that opportunity.
I just feel like, you're on the money. They just can't afford to interview him, and they can't afford to hire him.
Because he's not one of those guys that also falls into the category of, okay, you're interviewing him to be potentially a DC for one of these other candidates.
I'm sure they're like, who's a hot name? Let's talk to him. Would he talk to us? Titans are talking to him. Giants or Falcons or whomever are talking to him. I mean, there are too many names on this list that would be, and people are going to scoff at this, I think a downgrade from Jonathan Gannon, at least without watching this team play. The number one attribute that got people fired up about JG was he was the defensive coordinator on a historic defense. Now, that defense never translated here ever. But you had, my head coach is in the Super Bowl. They had 70 sacks and 17 picks. And people seem to really like him around the NFL. He's been around the NFL forever. Like people, okay, that was a selling point. And it felt like, okay, you'd waited long and you got your guy, right? And it really was Ossenfort's guy. You can't fire Jonathan Gannon and then just settle because you freaked out about ticket sales. Like, you have to have the Arizona Cardinals have to have enough self-awareness to say, we may like some people, we may want to talk to some people, but there's only a handful of guys on this coaching search that can truly fix what we have. And it's the people who have done it before. Like, I don't know why they're so afraid to do that. I don't know if they feel like, hey, if we pick up a guy who's got a resume, maybe he'll big time us. I have no idea. But like, continuing to throw darts at a board blindly with people who are unproven as head coaches, I just think that's a way to continue to do things that you've always done.
Yeah.
Buyout coaches. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury had never coached in an NFL game before. Steve Wilkes had barely been a coordinator. I mean, like, again, like we're
in a reverse type fashion. Hafley and Cliff are the same guy.
It's a good point.
Failed college coaches, better in the coordinator spot.
Yeah.
What else do you need to know?
And with all due, and people roll their eyes at this, like he's not going to have a rookie Kyler Murray to come in and run around and light the world on fire the first couple of years, right? And he doesn't even coach that side of the ball,
right?
I mean, like,
who's he hiring as his OC?
Jacoby Brissett picked apart the Packer defense for 3.5 quarters, and then Drew Petzing wet the bed like he always does in the fourth quarter. I watched the Cardinals offense that game; looked pretty good.
Yeah, because Petzing he gave a one-on-one Micah Parsons. I'd look like a good DC down the stretch. Like, hey, Parsons, get after the quarterback. They only have one guy on you. Okay, thanks, coach.
I
give me my coaching interview, please. Head coach
interview, please. I need some new names on this list.
Yeah,
like I need air to breathe.
I know.
We're gonna talk
because the Cardinals aren't. Let's get serious about this coaching search. Let's do it, Johnny.
Yeah, let's do it around the corner. We got to take a break, our last break, and then we're going to get serious. We're going to put our serious faces on. It's PHNX. Hit that like button for a new way to go about your nutrition and just your overall health with our friends at Factor Meals. I've been a big supporter and customer of Factor Meals, well, since they've started up, and they've only upped their game because new year, big goals, and no time to cook. Factor makes it easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by elite chefs so you can eat well without the shopping or cooking. Everybody loves those door-to-door food exchanges, right, where it's like, hey, it's going to take you 20 minutes, 30 minutes to put together this 5-star meal, and it comes to your door, and you don't even know where to start. Well, I'm going to tell you, start with our friends at Factor Meals. Pop it into the oven or microwave. You are done. No prep, no stress. Okay, I got 2 kids at home. We're doing homework. We're working. We're running errands. I don't have time to make a 4-course dinner. But with Factor, it's always fresh. It's never frozen, and it's ready in 2 minutes. Not 2 hours, not 20 minutes, 2 minutes. Check them out right now. Head to factormeals.com/PHNX50off. That's factormeals.com/PHNX50off. And use that bonus code PHNX50off to get 50% off your first box of food. Again, half off, out the door, ready to go. Plus, you get 1 year free for breakfast, of course. Offered valid for new customers of Factor and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchases. I'm telling you right now, make healthier eating easy with our friends at Factor Meals. They got 100 rotating meals weekly. Check them out right now, factormeals.com.
I've been on Factor since the start of the new year. I feel great. Feel a lot of energy. Feel healthy. Love it. Husband and wife law team. You've been in a serious accident. You've been injured. Who you hire as a lawyer is so important. So do your research. And once you go through that research, I think you're going to realize when it comes to the Valley of the Sun, nobody's going to help you out better and get you the results that you deserve than the husband and wife law team. Check them out right now. Mark and Alexis Breyer have somehow found that sweet spot between being legit attorneys that just dominate the courtroom and also being extremely online. Helpful tips, real answers, questions people actually have, enough personality to remind us that they're real humans, not just, billboards and suits. No, Mark and Alexis, very real. That's why I recommend not only do you give them a call when you've been in a serious accident or been injured or you've been a part of a wrongful death, but also follow them on their social media. Give them a call. It matters. If you've been in an accident, you just don't want a law firm. You want people you can trust. No runaround, no phone tag, just real access and real answers. That's what you're going to get from the husband and wife law team. So yeah, check out their social media. And if you're actually in need of them, you already know who you're calling. You can call them right now, 602-783-8841, and visit them online, husbandandwifelawteam.com. You can find the link in the show notes.
Like button, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. All right, we're going to be serious here. Put on our serious face as we take a look at our updated coaching tracker. There are now 8 openings with the potential for more. People are saying Sean McDermott loses this weekend, he'll be fired from Buffalo. And of course, if Matt LaFleur loses, he could be fired, which I think is not true at all. And he's just posturing for a raise. So I think at most you could see 1, maybe 2. Sirianni, I don't see the Eagles losing in the Niners. So again, there's only one John Harbaugh out there.
Right.
Like all these teams trying to fire their coach to get John Harbaugh, like, I'll take Sean McDermott, right? You take Matt LaFleur in a second. So with that being said, let's just assume that these remain the 8 openings right now. We're going to get serious. Where do you want to start our serious conversation, Bo?
Well, I mean, the newest team that's entered our coaching tracker today, the Miami Dolphins, I mean, they're not going to blow Mike McDaniel out 3 days after Black Monday without really having a true target.
Right.
And there are ties, I believe, to Stephen Ross with John Harbaugh. Seems like they're going to do the full court press here on Harbaugh. So
yeah.
I mean, I would say like they're the odds-on favorite for me to land Harbaugh. So let's just move forward with that being the assumption.
Okay, and then we'll put Kevin Stefanski there with the New York Giants. I think they're going Harbaugh or they're going Stefanski. They've already met with Stefanski twice. So let's lock in those. Harbaugh gets the money from Stephen Ross to do whatever he wants, and stays out east, which we've heard prefer to be out west. But let's continue the discussion now. The Titans have ramped up their coaching search. Robert Saleh has an interview. Mike McCarthy has an interview. So a lot of the names that we heard early on that we laughed at, well, they must have heard us making fun of them on social media because now they are entering into serious dialogue. I would be shocked if they didn't go with an offensive guy. I just feel like with Cam Ward, I know they technically had an offensive guy with Callahan, but he was so unprepared. I do think that they inevitably go with one of these experienced guys. And unfortunately, like I could see a Mike McCarthy landing here. I could see Mike McCarthy being a front runner for this job, given the fact that like Nashville's a cool town, minimal expectations come in, easier division. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they seem to be a wild card for me, but it does seem to be the right move to take your young quarterback and couple him with somebody offensive minded, even though Callahan, he fizzled out quickly with him teaming up with Cam Ward, but he just wasn't. He proved to be a little bit offensively a fraud as far as how he set anybody up for success, and was probably just a proponent of the success of Joe Burrow. I mean, Cliff, isn't he in the mix with the Titans? Right?
That'd be great.
That'd be, probably more from the standpoint of a play caller.
Yeah.
And that does open back up the idea of a defensive minded head coach. Albert Breer and Connor Orr seem to think Matt Nagy actually has a real chance.
That'd be great. That would be great for the Cardinals. That would be great for this franchise. Vegas Raiders, kind of a tough team to peg as well. They're going to have the first overall pick. They do. Again, like you would think with Brady, and after they went old with Pete Carroll, a defensive guy, you would think they would want an offensive guy.
Right.
But maybe this coaching cycle just doesn't warrant it. I think Flores is going to end up either in Baltimore or with the Vegas Raiders. I would be shocked if he didn't get a job. With now he's getting interviews. Like people are saying Jesse Minter in Baltimore. I don't know. Jesse Minter's not a better coach than Brian Flores.
Yeah. I don't. The mentor is only getting run really with one team, which to me is just kind of head scratching, right? If he's such a slam dunk to get an opportunity with the best opportunity on the market, the best option in the market, open market, it's strange to me. Raiders, I don't know if the Cardinals are going to be in the same kind of sandbox with those two teams. Same thing goes for the Browns.
I mean, Browns are talking to McDaniel, but I do think like that it feels like they might just hire from their old staff. I think I don't know if they want Mike McDaniel for a head coach or they'd want Mike McDaniel to be the OC with Jim Schwartz. I mean, they're talking to Jim Schwartz and Tommy Rees. And their prominent beat reporter who Mary Kay Cabot said that he expects them to have interest, but they didn't specify. I don't know. Going like from Stefanski to Mike McDaniel, Tommy Rees and Jim Schwartz are getting interviews. Oh, and then they requested the Bengals OC Dan Pitcher, which a Zach Taylor kind of disciple.
Seahawks DC Aiden Dirty.
Okay. She's just insinuating that they could have interest. So, I mean, I feel like the Cardinals right now, you can't look at the Browns as a threat. Yeah. You can't.
You guys doing a great job in celebrating Ranger. Yes, he is the GOAT. Dropping 10 more supporter memberships. Thank you, Ranger. Just continue to crush it and getting people more and more involved because of your generous donation. Thank you to that. We're humbled so by that. Ranger. Johnny hasn't made one donation, and you've made multiple.
I won't until this coaching cycle is done because I need.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Raiders that like VJ, Klint, Kubiak, Matt Nagy, Davis Webb. So 3 offensive guys and 1 defensive guy. Like VJ is more like when you used to make a MySpace page and like Tom was your friend already. Like that's VJ is just like he's already automatically in there as an interview you've got to make if you have a coaching opening.
Bidwill, when he talked about, and hopefully somebody pulls him aside and gives him a little bit more context, but he said these franchises that have hired a guy and they've had immediate turnaround, right? Mm-hmm. Look, we can do it like these other teams. Well, Mike Vrabel turned around the Patriots. He's a proven NFL commodity. He was the number 1 seed with the Titans, so that's disqualified. Yeah. Ben Johnson was a prodigy that had his pick of jobs for about 3 years. Cardinals aren't getting that kind of caliber of coach. Liam Cohen, maybe they could luck into a Liam Cohen, maybe, offensive guy. Mike McDonald was the equivalent of Ben Johnson defensively. They wanted to keep him. Like top Seahawk is an A+ job. They got him to come to Seattle. Like I would say, Michael, like those instances are very specific to the candidate that they could secure, which was at the top of the market. Mm-hmm. Cardinals' job right now, at best, is a mid-tier job. This market, you guys. I would love for the Cardinals to outthink everybody and get a Davis Webb, and Davis Webb comes in here and is flipping Sean McVay, right? And it's like, okay, great. It's like, but the likelihood of that, you don't have the collateral to do that with your fan base right now.
He's the quarterback coach for the Broncos, right?
Right, yeah.
What, are we – did Bo Nix take a massive jump in year 2? Or did he play off of an incredible defense and strong special teams?
You're just disqualified because it's Sean Payton's team.
Yeah.
Like how many, I could have egg on my face. How many like high-end assistants has Sean Payton got head coaching jobs from? I'm sure there's like a prominent one here or there, but like going back to those those New Orleans teams, I don't remember many. So I feel like if Mike McCarthy and Mike McDaniel are available, and they are, you need to speak with them. Let's take a look at this list again. All right, so I guess the same site, NFL.com, that basically says that Saleh's scheduled.
Yeah.
As Kubiak also scheduled now. So take that for what it's worth. I need a lot of these interviews to be over. I need these to be done. I want to cross names out. I want a tweet that says the Cardinals have narrowed their search, and I want it to see names that the fan base is excited about.
Yeah.
The problem is, and this is where I will agree with Albright, is that unless you're hiring a McDaniel or a McCarthy who don't have like huge, robust markets, if they want a Saleh or a Kubiak, you're going to have to wait this out. And that could be a dangerous game. Like John Harbaugh's like courting teams next week. So like theoretically, not a lot of these are going to settle until he at least starts the domino effect.
Right. Yeah. And it puts a pause on it. And we had like Monti, I think, is aware of that, based on NFL rules, and is you can disagree with them all as much as you want. And I would be in your camp that it's just kind of skewed how they do things and how they just kind of set this up. It's not conducive to having a flow to getting people hired. But it's because you are like the successful teams and the successful candidates are still probably coaching. It sets it up for it to be kind of a bit of a sludge. And then it's like, okay, if you didn't interview a guy in round one, you can't interview him in round two for a second interview. And it's just a mess. But it is good to kind of get some of these. I just want to see some of these names just get the interview and then move on. And let's talk about the actual candidates that can incite change here with this Arizona Cardinals team that just suffered such a brutal 2025 season.
I'm going to cue this clip up for Noah. It's in our assignments here, the qualities that they're looking for in a head coach.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, we're looking for a strong leader, and this is being a head coach in the NFL is a difficult job, and there's 31 other teams that are trying to do the same thing that we're doing. And so a lot goes into that. There's being a strong leader. It's creating accountability and dependability in the locker room. It's creating advantages on the field, putting our players in a position to be successful. It's developing young players. It's helping them take that next step. We get players out of college and we have to get them better. And so there's a lot that falls under the umbrella of a head coach. And so we're focused on finding a coach that can help us achieve those goals.
I would also ask Monti Ossenfort, okay, strong leader, whatever. Anybody who goes into a coaching search is like, I don't want a strong leader. What are we doing here? That's the bare minimum. It's like when you apply for a job now, and they're like, good communicator.
Right.
Works well with others. Great. A human being. I would ask Monti Ossenfort, who is Jeff Hafley like developed with 2 years with the Green Bay Packers? Like a notable developed player. Because I can give you about 5 for Mike McDaniel in his 4 years at Miami.
Yeah.
Like Tua's career could be over, and he led the league in passing yards. I mean, like Mike McCarthy developed countless Pro Bowlers his time in Green Bay. Brian Flores has made Alex Van Ginkel a household name for that franchise. Let's look at that list one more time of these. Let's just go through this list, rapid fire, interview tracker. Who has Vance Joseph developed defensively for the Broncos? It's a household name.
Developed?
Yeah, like, hey, this was a rookie and we developed him and he's great.
I mean, I guess he can get credit for Zach Allen. I mean, he was here when he was drafted, and he's turned into one of the biggest monster defensive linemen. I'll give him some credit there.
Give him Zach Allen, who it took about half a decade, sure. But he's got Patrick Surtain, and they're playing off of Sean Payton. Yeah. Anthony Weaver, Thanks, but no thanks. Robert Saleh, the list is about 20 deep. Where do you want to start, right? Klint Kubiak, JSN's the NFL Offensive Player of the Year this year. Sam Darnold built on what he did last year with Minnesota. Their offensive line's fantastic. Like Thomas Brown, the passing game for Drake May and company, I'm giving that to Mike Vrabel. Matt Nagy, everything got worse when he went to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Raheem Morris, they had multiple defensive youngsters who took the next step this year. Jalen Pierce had 11 sacks. That's like Raheem Morris is more qualified to be the Cardinals head coach than Jeff Hafley.
Yeah. I'm looking at like Kubiak. You talk about it, like Kubiak's been in part of, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7 quarterback rooms, whether he's been quarterback coach, pass game coordinator, offensive coordinator, which has happened more recently in the last couple seasons. He's got, I mean, it feels like you can pencil in 25 touchdowns from that quarterback, but he's got, let's see, 4,000-yard passing seasons, and he's got 3 30-plus touchdown seasons of quarterback rooms he's been a part of. I mean, he's got his fingerprints all over.
He's an elite offensive coach.
Yeah,
like McDaniel,
with connections.
Right. The problem for Jonathan Gannon in 3 years, who did Jonathan Gannon, defensive head coach, develop defensively?
Right.
Maybe Garrett Williams when he wasn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
More so like the lower profile guys that thought, oh, these are throwaways. And it's like, hey, they turned into be
role players.
Yeah, role players.
But like alpha, Pro Bowl, ascending players. Can't name one of them.
Right. And that's the knock on, that's the, kind of what Monty's having to wear right now is the all these draft picks, like, sure, many of them remain intact and on the roster and within the organization, but who are the true impact makers? That was the back and forth at the end of the press conference after announcing Jonathan Gannon had been fired. It's like, why do you get to stay? What's your impact made? What's your player's impact? And you're going to have to find, like, you can't just bring in anybody and expect them to tap into that potential.
We need to find out if these guys can play before they enter their rookie deals.
Right.
It's a problem with Cliff and Vance. We didn't know if Byron Murphy and Zach Allen were worth investing in. You're making the same mistakes again. Stop it. You hire Mike McDaniel. It's a rocket ship on the back of Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, the continued ascension of Trey McBride. Oh, and by the way, you could have a chance to have Dante Moore 3rd or 2nd overall.
Yeah.
And you're going to hire Jeff Hafley to take care of that? Come on.
Right.
Go look at the quarterback play from Boston College. It's not great. While he was head coach. That has to matter. Michael Bidwill. Like these are easy things to connect the dots with here.
Right. Simplify it.
Right. This isn't hard. This shouldn't be hard. Stop making it hard. We're trying to help. We are a pro Cardinal podcast. We want you to have success. Making it tough right now. All right, let's jump into these super chats. We got 28 and counting. I'm going to cue this one up because I'm not sure Noah can see it. Bo Brack for president, $9.99. Greatest podcast in the history of Western civilization, even if JV was a diva when my son asked him to sign his hat during training camp. That there's no way that's true. Never stop holding them accountable, Saleh or McDaniel.
I will say this on to defend my co-host. People have asked us for our signature, especially out at training camp, and I always hesitate because you're going to get the players' autographs always out there,
right?
And I don't want us knuckleheads in our dumb, bad handwriting signatures that's worth nothing sullying your nice memorabilia that you're going to get from.
I will take a photo. Let's do a photo.
Absolutely.
For sure. But
I'll reluctantly sign it, but it's not from a place of like, I don't want to sign it because, or Johnny doesn't want to sign it. Yeah.
It's embarrassing because there's professional athletes behind us and we're a couple of lowly podcasters. But Bo Brack for president. We hope to see you at training camp next year. Shout us out. We'd love to take a photo. Thank you for the donation and the kind words. Seamus, $4.99. Band is tight. Spoon is hot. Hopium time. Wow. That is quite the image there.
Seamus,
you're locked in, brother. We appreciate you. here's all I'll say though, Bo. Like Cardinals, your fan base is waiting for you to do something to give them hope.
Yeah.
Like I think
you somehow have created this opportunity.
You have a window here.
Yeah.
I will say though, those good vibes from Monday, where people are like, "Oh my God, like what could happen now?" And then that list comes out, and people are like, "Is this really your list?"
Right. Seems like much of the same from the last list. Have we learned anything?
We have not.
Keeping it going with the super chats. How about Alex? Saleh, Harbaugh, head coach, McDaniels, OC.
McDaniel's going to have his pick of offensive coordinator roles. I would love that, but I just feel like
Lions already reached out. I mean, I would say that's probably the top landing spot for any offensive play caller right now.
Do you think they have concern about being told no from established guys?
They shouldn't. Shoot your shot. What do you have to lose?
Doom Buggy, 420. Hey guys, I'm watching since 2022. Thank you so much. Love the pod. Question: Saleh with McDaniel or Klint Kubiak with Raheem Morris? Great work, guys. Saleh with McDaniels, but Klint Kubiak with Raheem Morris. Like
I'm in for both.
Yeah, I mean, this podcast we'd be doing flipping parades. I mean, we will have never have been more back if one of those two things occurred.
Yeah.
I mean, they get Saleh or Kubiak or McDaniels, this podcast is back.
Yeah. A lot of juice there. Keeping it going. How about Brian A? A guy who can't finish his steak says no scraps.
I don't want scraps. I'll give it to my dog. I'll give it, to somebody less fortunate. I don't want scraps I don't want to just sit here and say people think that Vance Joseph is having a good year, so let's just hire Vance Joseph and he knows the Cardinals and that's comfortable, and then we'll forget about the team. I don't want to do that. Don't do that.
We got to figure out what the meal's going to be in San Francisco for the Super Bowl. I mean, I know we're doing we'll have a steak dinner in Indy and some shrimp cocktail, but what's Johnny's, going to be his feat of strength as far as
the feats of strength?
What's his meal going to be? I mean, I can only think of rice-a-roni. It's the San Francisco treat. What else are they known for?
Like a gallon of salt water.
Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, you guys look it up. I'll keep it going with Jack. This head coach candidate list so far scares me. Scares us too.
Yeah. I mean, I kept waiting for one of these premier names to come across. They started off strong Tuesday. Hafley.
They didn't start out, but they've Tuesday ended with a bit of a bang.
We were on the show and it was like bang, bang, Kubiak, Saleh. And they have to know, right? Like Cardinal fans are it's like I say this every time we do a show. They're just too educated. They're not here to buy what you're selling of, hey, random coordinator is going to change your stars, right? This franchise has never been down worse. I think you can make an argument. And like, who is beating these other coaches in this division? Like Mike McDaniel has coached and out-coached these coaches in this division. So is Mike McCarthy. Yeah. And you're too good to talk to them. That confuses me.
Well, McDaniel last year, when Tua went down with the concussion that kept him out, put him on IR, right?
Yeah.
After he came back and unfortunately, like the Dolphins had kind of fallen out of the playoff picture, they made their way back into it. I think they were, in fact, actually in the playoff picture until the final week of the season.
Yeah.
They beat the Rams. They outright beat the Rams in a big primetime game. People are like, wait, I thought the Dolphins were dead.
I thought he was a beta. No, he's won a bunch of games in the NFL.
Yeah. He was able to out-scheme what was going on in L.A. Monti Ossenfort's LeBron. No, go ahead. LeBron, why is AZ not linked to John Harbaugh? Money? Small market?
Yes.
Well, he's not linked to anybody, really. Right. I mean, the Giants are in the picture, and you would assume what the Dolphins did, they're going to be in the picture. But the Adam Schefter report after we went off air last night was he's not going to start scheduling interviews until next week.
Which you're holding up the whole thing, John. Thanks a lot. Monti Ossenfort's burner, $2. Just need a winning head coach, doesn't matter who. And I think like the Nagy thing, he's got a winning record, but the more you start to peel back the layers, like that was a defensive team with Fangio where Mike McDonald had Fangio one year coincidentally, but those were offensive teams. Those were his
Khalil Mack.
Yeah. Like those Matt Nagy teams, those are actually really good. I was living in Illinois at the time. Those were really good Bears rosters.
Yeah.
They had a lot of good players on that team. They had a run game. I mean, Matt Nagy to me just screams like falling upward.
He was very Cliffish, where like his offense in Mitchell Trubisky worked early on. Maybe even you could say for the extent of a season. But then once teams knew how to defend it, he was done, and he hasn't readjusted.
He's not being welcome back in Kansas City, and he's going to come here and be your head coach. Who's going to be on his staff? Who's he hiring? Richard, 199. What are the odds we trade up for Mendoza? I would say next to zero. I'd say there's a great chance, a 50-50 chance, that the Jets are not in love with Dante Moore if he declares, and you get a chance to draft Dante Moore. I think that's a very realistic possibility right now.
Dante Moore, Mendoza tomorrow, baby.
Dante Moore and Mike McDaniel, like you're
what if Dante Moore goes out there and outperforms Mendoza tomorrow?
I think
he's tough against that defense, but what if
I think Fernando Mendoza is a Vegas Raider. I think that's a done deal.
All right.
I want to see it though, because I want Moore to be like, I'm coming out for sure. Arizona Artichokes, $4.99. Can we take a second to acknowledge the irony of the Packers cutting Clayton Tune and bringing Desmond Ridder in as the third string? It is hilarious.
I did. I pointed that out. I was like, I can't believe that this quarterback battle, one of the worst that this league has seen, continues on after the 2024 Cardinals quarterback battle.
Yeah. I mean, there were people in this market who thought cutting Clayton Tune was a big mistake. He's not an NFL player. That's okay. But it does give you pause. Like, Monty, what are we doing here? That, like, not to keep banging this McDaniel drum, but it's like you have hesitations if Monti Ossenfort can evaluate a quarterback. You know who can? Mike McDaniel. Like, let him help you pick a guy. You're not doing it on your own. Like, Jonathan Gannon and Monti Ossenfort identifying QBs, it was tough.
Yeah.
You get an offensive savant, and that's what he is, and get the most important position. But Jonathan Gannon got fired because the quarterback situation was, miserable on top of a lot of other things.
How about Brian P? Member for 4 months. Brian P, big friend of the show.
Thank you, Brian.
Can we, it says, we're going to mess around and lose all the tens because we're flirting with the 400-pounders because we're afraid to shoot our shot. Should have fired Monti Ossenfort too.
Well, I don't have an argument for that. My only hope, Brian, is that the first time they did this with Monti, the first week, they interviewed a bunch of people that we never heard from again. Frank Wright, Vance, we could go back. It was a rough list. Now, they didn't try to shoot their shot at a Saleh or Kubiak-esque type of coach during that cycle either. But that might be fun. Tomorrow's show, we could look back at some of the candidates early on and do a comparison. But they took their time then too. I also think the Bears last year, when they inevitably got Ben Johnson, I remember seeing things, I don't know if it was part of my take with Big Cat or somebody else. They interviewed, or CHGO Bears, they interviewed I feel like double-digit head coaches. They talked to everybody. I mean, they interviewed Drew.
Yeah, they did. And Israel Wolfwork, right?
Did they?
I think so.
Hang on, you read this next one. I'm gonna see how many coaches they interviewed last year.
Our resident Chargers fan, Charlie Sinclair. Boys, can I get a Chargers at Pat's breakdown?
I think the Chargers have the better head coach, even though I like Venerable a lot. I think it will be difficult to stop the pressure that's been on Herbert. If you had both your tackles in this game, I'd love the Chargers to win. But I think Jim Harbaugh is the second best coach in the NFL, in my opinion.
That's the late game on Sunday. I mean, they play the brand of football that could go in there into Foxborough and shock them. All right. They'd have to have a lot go right.
It was January 18th. I'm going to interrupt. I know we got a lot of super chats. I'm going to read you the Bears tracker of everybody they talked to. Okay. Adam Stanovich, Brian Flores, Joe Brady, Todd Monken, Mike McCarthy, Arthur Smith, David Shaw, Thomas Brown, Ron Rivera, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Mike Kafka, Pete Carroll, Anthony Weaver, Drew Petzing, Mike Vrabel, and they also talked to Matt Campbell. How many coaches was that? Like at least double digits.
Right.
And they did it rapid fire. Cardinals need to be doing that. Rapid fire. Get them in, get them out.
That's right. Keep it going. I'm sorry we couldn't give you a thorough breakdown. We'll get into the games upcoming this weekend tomorrow. It's funny, like when I'm searching for news and nuggets as far as this coaching search and carousel goes, and I get info on this weekend's games, I'm like, get off of my feet. I don't care about these red. We're just not.
I don't need to
mode.
see the NFC West have success this season.
Right. But wishing the best of luck to the Chargers. I'd love to see the Pats maybe be called frauds by everybody. That'd be funny to me.
Yeah.
Trinity, Bidwill not beating the cheap allegations with these candidates. Disgusting list aside from Kubiak and Saleh.
Agreed. 100% agree. It's a list that none of these guys are getting hired by anybody else. Maybe Vance, maybe Hafley is like a third or fourth option. But these New Jersey Cardinal, $4.99. Who out of the coaching candidates would want to go to war with K1? Is that even an option? You think Michael and Monti aren't having it? Zero.
I think the latter, that Michael and Monti probably aren't having it, and they want to just take this leap of faith, find a new quarterback. One thing I thought was like, what if McDaniel comes in and says, I want Kyler as my quarterback?
I don't think he would.
No,
not with the injury.
You don't think he sees that skill set and say, hey, I can?
No, not with the injury.
Because he doesn't necessarily need the play action to be effective as far as confusing defenses. He does it with just movement, pre-snap stuff.
Not with the injuries. I think he would rather. You want a clean slate. Jonathan Gannon, didn't have one. I think you say you might come in here. You want Dante Moore. You want Ty Simpson. You want Malik Willis for a year. You want to trade for a QB.
Well, that's your rebuttal. But I think he's the only one, and could make a case for it to maybe make them think twice.
I don't think you could do that for a couple different reasons, because Kyler's camp has moved on and Monti and Bidwill have moved on. Yeah. I just don't. I mean, if that's my only way of getting him, maybe you'd reconsider, but it wouldn't impede my plans of getting a quarterback in the draft.
Steven Jackson, friend of this show, assuming Harbaugh is unrealistic, McDaniel is our new top overall favorite. Juice aside, Mike McCarthy's still my pick. Bring McDaniel in as his OC.
Saleh would still be my favorite because he's living in the division every day, but I would have McDaniel over Kubiak right now. And I'd probably have Kubiak and McCarthy on the same level.
You like Saleh more than Mike McDaniel?
I do, just because I just,
we're in the same division and one had success and one didn't.
It's coin flip. I can be swayed either way. Here's what I like. I won't like Robert Saleh if he spurns the Cardinals, but I know I like Mike McDaniel because he's available.
I do like that aspect of it, that you're all in on Saleh, but if he were to say no, you would probably hate his guts forever, for eternity.
It would disappoint me. It would disappoint me from this. Not that if he got a much better job, if he gets the Ravens job or something.
Yeah.
But if he says no and is still their defensive coordinator next year, you better bring in Mike McDaniel to light their asses up.
Right.
Jeff Hafley, I mean, you're going to make us look as small as possible.
Right.
Hey, Vance and Jeff Hafley, you're not going to score against Robert Saleh next year. Like, if you have any kind of semblance of pride as a franchise, and Robert Saleh says, I'm not taking your money, you would want to turn around and shove it up his ass and everybody in San Francisco. How is that not their mindset?
Right.
Like, let's just play over here. Let's just do this over here. Have some pride.
Charlie Sinclair, Bidwill should take his buddies Dean Spano's lead on this. Historically cheap owner gave Harbaugh ultimate control and money for his staff, and look what happened. Never thought Dean had it in him. That's exactly right. I mean, you got to spend money to make money. You got to be able to invest in the product beyond just the salary cap, and it's going to take, being the top bidder for a coach, and then also getting in on him letting us build the entire staff he wants.
The Chargers had a golden ticket, though, and his name was Justin Herbert. Jim Harbaugh had ties to that franchise that helped, and Herbert was the driving factor. Cardinals don't have a Herbert right now. But you're correct on everything else.
The Arizona Cardinals are back. Bo looks like Casey Dutton from Yellowstone.
Let me. I don't watch Yellowstone. Let me look up this person.
I watched the first couple seasons, and then it was one of those shows where I looked at my wife and I said, "Why are we still watching this show? It had gotten so ridiculous."
I'm not sure.
That's a compliment. I think he's a good looking dude.
Yeah, I don't think I'm seeing it. You know who Bo looks like? Has anybody ever seen this? There's a guy on Instagram who sang the Spirit Halloween song. Did you ever see that guy? The theme from Spirit Halloween. I'll have to send it to you. You look like this guy.
Thanks, man. That's great. It's flattering.
Charles.
Bo looks like the Rizzler.
What? Are we doing famous lookalikes? No, cue it up. From the AI streets today. Here is my doppelganger. The real reason I want Mike McDaniel here. That is unbelievable.
Who did that?
It got sent to me privately, private DM.
And you won't reveal who said it? Who sent it?
Sent anonymously.
Really?
Mike McDaniel. I didn't really ever realize it.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Look at these two guys. Very similar flow. You do rock the kind of thicker rim glasses.
He's
same scruff.
He's taller than me, though. I will say he's taller than me. He's got multiple inches on me. I'm not a tall man. All right, we got too many super chats.
Yeah, let's keep
Charles.
it going.
It was also following 3 consecutive first-time head coach flameouts. Great point. We were the Cardinals. Just hire John and ask questions later. Let's go, Mikey. They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
They don't have Herbert to get them here.
And they don't have like a little bit of an end. There was some familiarity with Jim where he played quarterback for them for years.
Yep. And Vrabel, same thing with Patriots, although their history is elite. The Bears got really lucky that Ben Johnson wanted that job.
Like the time to have done it, Charlie, was Peyton.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a ball boy for the team, right? Way back when there was a relationship.
Yep.
And they didn't choose to try to.
They just think they know better, and it's just like, guys, look at the team. Have some humility here.
But I'm sure the staff thing was big. It's like, okay, we'll pay you, Sean, $18 million. Okay, oh, I'd like the same amount to build my staff. And like, it's like the built-on charges when you buy tickets.
You want to use Cliff staff? You want to see these guys? You don't want these guys?
JG's like, you can pay me this, and then also I'll get you a cheaper staff than that.
I'll get you less experience. How about that?
My buddy Drew, he'll come and do it for nothing. Keeping it going with
sleep at the facility.
Dude, Charlie, who's got it better than the Cardinals? Everybody.
No one. Literally no one. Sam 999. McDaniel, in my opinion, would not only save Marv and Michael Wilson, but also save Trey Benson.
Yeah.
Ultimate juice move. Elite juice.
Yeah.
Infinite juice. Fantasy juice. Relevancy juice. Fun juice. Vibes juice. Content juice for this fanboy pod.
It's all about this is the off season of bringing back the juice. Bring the juice this off season.
You're a dead franchise right now. This would be just back to life, Frankenstein style.
Brian P's back. When do we expect people like James Conner, let's see, Bilal Nichols, Sean Murphy Bunting, Evan Brown to get released to open up cap space, or more incompetence from Monti Ossenfort incoming?
They're all getting cut. It'll be cap manipulations probably around free
You
agent.
think JC is as big of a slam dunk as the rest of those guys?
Yeah. You're not keeping a 29-year-old, 30-year-old back with a new coaching staff. If Gannon had been back, I would say there's a decent chance. Gannon loved James Conner.
Yeah.
Loved him.
I'm curious to see how they move forward with Sean Murphy Bunting, who stuck around the organization after going down before the start of the preseason with an injury away from the facility. I wonder, is there a chance they bring him back with kind of some unknown around their young corners to at least just compete?
I think I can say
expensive.
I think I can say how he got injured, or should I not say that?
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, I won't do that. All right, Ranger, $10. This is starting to feel like 3 years ago with Gannon with this list. Keeps goring. And I feel like we're stuck with someone worse than Gannon because they just keep messing around. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a bad list so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's a not safe for work list.
No, very few redeemers on that list.
But
thank you, Ranger. Thank you for the supporters that you've gifted. So many people are pumped about it.
Yeah, there it is.
10 sports supporter memberships.
So much.
Those were an additional 10 to the first 10 that he
did
20.
Wow.
Thank you.
That is unbelievable.
You're the man.
Rangers the MVP 2026.
You deserve a real coach, Ranger.
Loso, if we hire another defensive coordinator, I'm done.
Unless it's Saleh. Or Flores.
Yeah.
These guys, Jeff Hafley, no. Please no. Teo Mackey said this is a really interesting name. I want to be like, Teo, no, Teo. Stop it, Teo. We got a new member, Bo Brack, for president.
Let's go.
President of the Losers.
It's not my burner. I can tell you. It's not my burner, but I appreciate the support. I don't know what the platform I'm running on is solely based on juice. That's it.
I like you in the all black. It's like you're coming to a funeral today. It's just like, oh man, I don't like these coaching names. You're going all black. Losto, back to back $2. Same super chat. I'll read it twice. Bidwill so cheap and we will always suck. Bidwill so cheap and we will always suck.
Appreciate it, Loso. M. Shea. McDaniel would be the best option so far. No chance at Harbaugh. If Davis Webb comes with Vance Joseph and calls play, might be okay if we can draft a rookie quarterback.
It would be so Cardinals for that to actually happen, it to work to some degree, and then Davis Webb leaves. Vance is like, we're good, guys. I think Davis Webb is not even the offensive coordinator for the Broncos. He's the quarterback coach. Davis Webb, who is not a good NFL player. I don't know.
Right.
I just feel like, doesn't it just feel like Sean Payton just juicing up their own guys? Please,
yeah.
No.
He's 30. He's 30 years old.
Stop, guy.
He's a baby.
Breer's pushing Davis Webb a lot, and I'm like, no. Davis Webb beating Mike McDaniel one-on-one. We saw Drew Petzing, and it was a horror show. Davis Webb, no.
No thanks.
Guys, wake up. Wake up, Cardinals.
Sorry, I was thrown off. I'm like, what was the Broncos? How did they end up doing offensively? I mean, they were a big time product of what they were able to do on the defensive side of the football.
So, let me play devil's advocate for a second.
In the middle league offensively.
Let me just play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Vance has got a great defense the last 2 years. Why can't he be the head coach of the Cardinals, Bo?
Why can't he be?
Yeah, I'm just like, why couldn't he have success here?
I don't think he's built for it. I mean, he was basically the associate head coach during the Kingsbury era.
Right.
What's going to be different with him? I feel like he was already in a very powerful position. He ran the defense, and the defense, he never had a top 10 defense before going to Denver and having, Zach Allen pair up with Patrick Surtain and them just be a suffocating defense.
You see this? Rod Graves and Kurt Warner are pumping up Vance.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Guys, come on. We got to live this every day. You guys can do what you want to do.
Right.
We deal with this every day. Come on now. And it's a concern. And here, I'm going to bring up optics that you and I talked about off air, and you can choose to comment on it if you want or not.
Okay.
But I just feel like when the Cardinals fired Steve Wilkes after 1 year,
mm-hmm.
and there's the racial component that is real in terms of the perception, right? And I wasn't there. I don't know how it went down. And Steve Wilkes won 4 games, and Jonathan Gannon got 3 years and won, 15 games in 3 years. If you hire Vance Joseph and if you fire Vance Joseph after a 4-13 season, that is not a good place for your franchise after having that happen with Steve Wilkes. And again, I'm not putting any kind of label on this, Bo, or saying this happened or this didn't happen, but I'm just saying the optics of that would be bad. Now, Brian Flores, you feel good about it because he's done it before. Vance, fair or not, has a 10-21 record. So we expect Vance Joseph to come here and not succeed based off of that.
Right.
So you can't turn around and fire him after a year after having that happen with Steve Wilkes and enabling Cliff and JG with horrific years.
There's a very real reality where a Vance Joseph coached Cardinals team in 2026 could win 4 or 5 games, and the pressure is going to be put on without showing any progress. The same roster, just like there was pressure to fire JG, which you did.
Yeah.
To fire him after one season. And what's Bidwill going to do? And whether or not it's fair or not,
right,
you're opening yourself up for criticism and for people to jump to their own conclusions about this.
You can bury your franchise even worse than it is now. And Vance is highly respected around the NFL. Even if we don't love him for the head coach, he's an elite defensive coordinator. We can see that. Don't leave yourself. Vance Joseph in the right circumstance could succeed. Vance Joseph, given where the Cardinals are right now, is not the person for this job.
Right. Keeping it going with the super chats. Dana Ballknower is back. Don't worry, guys. Sean Murphy Bunting's still under contract. Sarcasm. Vance would definitely run him out at CB1 again. That is talked about it already. I mean, his reluctance to play young players, and this is a draft and develop organization. How is he even in the conversation based on that? Draft and develop, but yet you draft the guy and he sits. Isaiah Simmons, Zaven Collins.
He's got to. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Saleh has to wait. We have to wait until next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the Vance Joseph interview virtual because they have a bye and they're doing it virtual now? So wouldn't you assume Klint Kubiak's interview was virtual because they have a bye?
I would, yeah.
Okay. I was just hoping to connect the dots where the virtual aspect meant not serious, but who knows?
Keith Davis interviewing 5 of the 7 dwarves and not giving me hope.
We need some juice tomorrow. No doubt about it. Martino, $5. If the Cardinals hire one of these low-end coaches, can you imagine the blowback from the fan base? My excitement would be deflated. I don't know if I can go on. Well, you would assume like they have the internet, since they have good Wi-Fi. They're hardwired in over in Tempe, and they log on and they see the perception. We know they watch our show. They see the perception of these candidates right now. People are fired up about approximately 2 of them.
Right.
So, and I would love for them to secure one of those 2. You need to be thinking, if you're Bidwill and if you're Monti Ossenfort, what if we can't get one of those guys? What are we doing next? And that you should hire the best person, no doubt. But you fired Jonathan Gannon not because you didn't like him. You fired him because of the perception of the team and ticket sales and the win-loss reality. That should be what this hire is then. I don't want another Jonathan Gannon in Jeff Hafley skin. I don't. That's not good for the team.
Yeah.
And Gannon, I think, is going to have success elsewhere, and Hafley could go have success elsewhere. This team can't afford to do that right now.
Yeah. People are going to see his opening press conference and say, hey, that was enjoyable. I like that. This guy seems like a good guy. Let me just take a look. Let's learn more about Jeff Hafley. Oh, God, 22-26 in the ACC. I'm already out. Now all that stuff seems kind of effed up, what I heard in that press conference. Let's keep it going. He's making his daily super chat. Lamar Washington, great to hear from you, my man. Hope you're doing well here in this new year. Would you give Cliff a second chance if he interviewed?
No.
Because we know what Cliff is as a head coach, right? We know what that's about. Keeping it going, Charlie Sinclair. He's a busy man today. We appreciate your super chats. Power rank your preferred head coaching hires.
All right, I'm with you. McDaniel, Saleh, Kubiak, McCarthy,
Flores.
That's the big 5. People are going to be like, you want McDaniel? Yeah, man. Give me a guy who won 11 games 2 years ago.
I think I share that with you. I thought about moving somebody, but we're going to stand in unity as a show. No, are you cool with that?
Sounds good.
Yeah, he wasn't paying attention.
You don't even
Keeping
know.
it going, Loso. How about JV knows McDaniel drives a Prius?
What do we think he drives for real? It's not a Prius.
Didn't we see him driving a Benz
Yeah.
when he was trolling some Bills fans this
Gannon's
season?
got a Benz. Let me see if I can find this. Mike McDaniel car.
He was out there driving by after.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
he trolled the Bills fans.
That's my coach, damn it.
Yeah.
Hang on. No, you're going to have to put this in the show. Sorry. I'm texting you this.
I'll bring up the super chats. You just get to work there, my guy.
Yeah.
How about our guy Sooner? When can we expect a hire? We can play that. You want to play that clip of Monti Ossenfort?
Yes.
Giving you a timeline as far as when they expect this hire to be made.
Well, Darren, I think with the rules in place by the NFL, this is not a quick process, nor do we want it to be. I mean, this is an important decision that Michael and I are going to undertake, and so we are going to be thorough. We're gonna look at a wide range of candidates, and because of the NFL rules as they stand with timing of when we can talk to guys that are still in the playoffs. This is not a process that's going to be quick. And so a timeline, no, but we're going to be ready, and we're going to be aggressive with our search, and we're going to be thorough with our search. And when we find the right guy, we're going to be aggressive to go get him.
The last. It will be last. Red Feather Workshop, $2. Firings if lost, LaFleur, McDermott, Tomlin, all of the above. All of them.
Yeah.
If they become, do you think they're going to get fired? I think only McDermott would be fired.
Yeah. Losing to the Jags, right?
Yeah.
Is that who they're playing?
Losing because of his defense and losing bad. He's got 100+ wins.
I'll say this. I was talking to Noah about this, I think, yesterday. I mean, this is you can start to look at Josh Allen a little funny if he can't make his way to the Super Bowl. It's
set up for him to go to the AFC for sure. I don't think they're going to beat the Jaguars. I think they're going to lose. Duval.
They dialing up 4th and 4 to some unknown like the Cardinals did against them.
Charles, $4.99. I won't make Bo read this one. Johnny looks like a century's young George Clooney. Wow. I needed that today after the Jeff Hafley news. Thank you, Charles.
I don't see the resemblance, but okay. How about Desert Vulture? Bidwill, do you ever want to sell out Flagstaff like the Fiesta Bowl? You got money.
Isn't it so cliche? It's like Desert Vulture. They're hosting the Fiesta Bowl tonight. People are having a blast. Stadium looks great. People love being in the Valley for the game. And then it's just like, oh, yeah, an NFL team plays here.
Yeah.
They don't have a coach right now. And we might hire Jeff Hafley. Or we might hire Vance Joseph. It's like, okay, we'll check back in 4 years.
Who are you watching closely tonight?
All the players from Miami.
Yeah.
Trinidad, unfortunately, is making some really poor choices.
Yeah. He wants to, is he going to become a doctor? Is that why he's staying in college so long?
Trinidad, you're going to be 30 years old when you're a rookie. Get out of school. Time to play in the NFL.
Jenga Man, new spinoff movie for Lucasfilms. McDaniel as Luke Skywalker, Petzing as Jabba the Hutt, Tip as Boba Fett, and Michael Wilson as Slave Leia. Thoughts?
It's an aggressive cast. Tip Ryman would never be Boba Fett. That would probably be, man, that's tough. Trey McBride probably be Boba Fett. Michael Wilson is Slave Leia. That's we're not going to go there.
Look great in the gold bikini.
Oh my God. Brian, $2. AI says Sean Murphy Bunting tore it playing pickleball. Any truths? I can tell you that is not how he tore it.
Yeah. Who says that? AI?
Yeah. Or Al. Somebody named Al or AI. Ranger, $5. Monty will be like, please welcome your new head coach, Matt Nagy. God help us. You want to see? You want to see what a head coach looks like? Noah, cue it up. Cue up what our guy did trolling Bills fans on the street. Look at him. It's like what happened last night. That's our we're going to gut these guys. Except that guy was the head coach and did it by himself.
Yeah. Imagine being a Bills fan and everything's going your way this season. Nothing's going the Dolphins fan, and you live in Miami, and somebody asks for directions, and you turn around and it's the head coach of the team that just beat your ass. I love it.
Give me him. Come on, Monty. It's right there. Wake up. Look at
Also,
him.
some additional research. He is driving a Rolls Royce.
What? Is that a Rolls?
Yep.
A matted,
Oh,
a matte
actually,
black
you know
Rolls?
what? Now that I
That's a Benz.
no, it's a Bentley. Sorry, apologies, Bentley.
I'm pretty sure that's a Benz.
It's a Bentley.
Bo, would he take the
guarantee
job
it.
if they offered it to him?
Huh? Would he take the job?
Yeah.
I mean, what's your competition right now?
If he got no other head coaching offers and it was just OC jobs and the Cardinals, we want you to be your head coach.
Yeah. I think he'd come here.
Why are you doing that?
I've heard that he likes Arizona. His best buddy went to U of A.
Stupid. Ranger, $5. Oh, we already read that one. No, this whole thing is just stupid. Like, I guess he was just fired today. So, like, theoretically, could we hear about an interview tomorrow? I bet we better be leading our flipping show tomorrow.
Yeah.
With Mike McDaniel has an interview.
Right.
For your franchise, your franchise lost 14 or 13 and can't win a GD game.
Right.
Interview a guy who's won 11 games in this league. You're not above that, Cardinals. Charles, Vance is the ultimate retread. Denver head coach to DC. AZDC to head coach? No. Not a head coach.
This podcast would go to a dark place if that's the type of hire they make.
And they would deserve the kind of year that they would have.
Yeah. Sooner, is Warner pumping up Vance because he wants the Rams to beat the Cardinals?
I think Kurt's is a nice guy, and I'm sure he was asked about it.
Yeah, Kurt is just very X's and O's driven, and like we said, like Vance is very well liked.
Which is why you can't hire him and screw him over, and the optics look bad.
Right.
Don't put yourself in that position. Let somebody else hire Vance. If the Raiders want to hire Vance Joseph, let the Raiders hire Vance Joseph. At least he coordinates a defense in that division. And you've got Kansas City rebuilding next year, and the Chargers can't pass protect. These three teams in the NFC West, like the Cardinals' best course of action next year is to win shootouts against them. There's only one guy who's going to be able to do that.
Loso, I'm getting too old for this. I'll just hire the offense to let me down one last time into my grave.
I feel that, brother. Man, that I've never related more to a super chat. My wife at me before the show, and she's like, "Why are you so stressed out?" I'm like, "They're flubbing this up again." Yeah. It's just, I want to be wrong.
Brian P., my ticket sales rep, asked me which coach would bring me back into the fold for season tickets.
Did they, Brian? You have to tell me if that's for real.
I guarantee it is. I know he said that he dropped season tickets earlier this season. Seems like they're trying to pulse the fans.
I don't hate that.
Brian, who'd you tell him?
Brian, get up. You don't have to do a super chat. Put it in the chat. Is that for real? God, I love that. That's so good. The problem is, though, there are some people who are like pro Vance Joseph on Twitter.
Crazy.
He says 100% real.
That's awesome.
That's great. Who did you tell him, Brian?
What coach could we get you back in? Maybe we could even upgrade you to the club level. What do you think?
How can people look at Vance and be like, those are the good old days when they were good for half a season? Dear God,
Right.
Have some standards. I'm not saying anybody here said that. It's like, oh, I'm reminiscent about those years with Cliff and Vance when you were, a third or fourth place team, but we weren't this bad.
He had been gifted Chandler Jones.
And they had, J.J. Watt.
Couldn't stop Carson Wentz on Christmas.
Couldn't get a playoff spot locked up to save his life.
Right.
LeBron, $5.
Not Eagles Carson Wentz either. It was Colts Carson Wentz.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
Why not John, man? He would do wonders here. I agree. It would be a new regime for the Cardinals. Come on, Bidwill. Don't convince him somehow.
I think John Harbaugh, Mike McDaniel, Mike McCarthy, maybe Robert Saleh. I think it comes with more polarization just because of his record. give instant credibility to this organization.
Harbaugh is one I don't think we could remember earlier because we've kind of disassociated from that.
Well, I didn't think I could have said it, but I just didn't think that we were entertaining that until we get some sort of
clarity. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need Cardinal fans to unite for McDaniel. We've tried to have a sermon here for 2 hours.
I don't care if they don't. I mean, it's what you need, Cardinals fans. It's the type of coach you need.
We've been doing this for a long time. It's just this is the move. This is the move for them. Jenga man, Sean Murphy Bunting hooking up the new Wi-Fi for Bidwill. Hey, Mr. B, I got that router for you. Sports Hero, here we go.
You get up there, up in the fourth level. Can you up above the fourth level seats and just work on the fiber, please, for me, SMB? Sure, Mr. B.
We're at 2 hours into the show. We have to end it. But Sports Hero, you're a big part of this community. Surely this can't be what he was awful. He has 2 winning seasons in 4 years, and he's been to the playoffs twice. He's a good coach. He's a playoff coach. Awful is what we've been living.
Right.
Our definition of awful is maybe different than yours. I've seen awful. I've lived it every Sunday doing post games for this team.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel is an above average NFL head coach who got fired at the end of his tenure because the owner wanted to pursue John Harbaugh.
Yeah. I mean, I think when he has good rosters, he can be really good, right? He can coach to that level. And when he doesn't have great rosters, like he can still surprise you, like that Bills win from earlier this season. Like the Dolphins had no business beating the Bills in the year 2025 of our football lords.
Ryan, here's what I'm going to tell you. That's a very valid statistic, but he wins the layups that Gannon couldn't win either. And here, I'll also preface this by saying that their general manager, Chris Greer, is one of the worst executives. He gives Keim a run for his money in league history. Ask our guy, Damon Dog.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real stat, though. But, Cardinals haven't beaten a winning team in over a year. Yeah. And they lost to the Titans this year. I think it's about, standards and leveling up as a franchise. And I think what we're going to come to find out, and hopefully the franchise finds out, is as much as you want John Harbaugh, you're not in a position with where the franchise is at currently to pursue John Harbaugh. You're not thought of as a serious operation. Okay, so let me ask everybody this right now. And I know we want to think if they hire Mike McDaniel that they're going to win a Super Bowl. And that's the intent. That's the goal. What if they hire Mike McDaniel and they have a prolonged period of success, and then the relationship runs its course after 6 or 7 years, and then they can re-enter the coaching circuit, maybe with a developed quarterback and a franchise that has a new facility and has a facelift around the NFL, and then the next hotshot coach wants to come coach that team. You don't get to jump from step 1 to step 17.
Mm-hmm.
That should be the goal. If you can win big with McDaniel in the short term, great. And then he's a hero here forever. He's cemented in Valley status. But hey, McDaniel had a series of nice seasons with the Arizona Cardinals, and then it ran its course, and now they're pivoting, and they're going to go after their own version of John Harbaugh.
Yeah. Man, we are having some marathon shows. Chris Hart's
tired of too.
Yeah, tired of losing. Thank you, Chris. Chris is great here and also on Twitter. Good follow out there. Appreciate his support. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for us. We've got one more show for you this week, barring any emergency pods. Would we do emergency pod? What's that?
Would you do an emergency pod for McDaniel interview tonight if we found out?
Sure.
I would do one.
Yeah. Retreat to my office. I think also if there was any news on Harbaugh, if he got an interview, we'd fire it up.
Yes.
That's how sick we are. We're sick. So is Noah.
I'm tired.
Of you. All the super chats. You guys continue to crush it. But hit that like, subscribe to PHNX Sports. We continue our ascent towards 50K. It's going to be a great day when we can celebrate being 50,000 subscribers strong. One last super chat here right at the buzzer. Philly Redbird, one of our new supporters. Big thank you to you. JV is on point 95% of the time. I hope the Cardinals listen to the show. I don't know if Johnny's got that high of a hit rate, but it's still solid.
I was right about this year. I told you they were bad. Saw it. I seen it with my eyes early. I saw it.
So you predicted how many wins?
We're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
That was our blind faith in our boy.
That's 5% where you fell short.
That's
but
right.
other than that,
Close the show.
let's just see Johnny one more time. His doppelganger. There he is. Look at this guy. 95% right there. This guy right here.
That guy can win in this division. Damn it. That guy been to the playoffs twice.
Follow Johnny on Twitter. Follow the show, PHNX_Cardinals. We'll talk to you guys on Friday for the guy from Yellowstone and young George Clooney. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 4:30, PHNX Cards.
We all silly like the mayor.